I'm in Tokyo and I've come to visit my dear friend Lina, also known as Takahashi Eats. She's gonna help me make some bagels. I literally don't cook at all.
I was like, Sayaka, what bread do you want to make? And she goes, croissants.
Croissant. I didn't even spell it right.
Yeah. It's your second favorite bread to bake.
I've never baked. Anyways, fun fact, we both were born and raised in the States, but she was born and raised in Colorado, whereas I was born and raised in California. Although it's the same America, it's very different, so I thought we'd talk about that as we bake. And take my show!
We're first gonna use bread flour. これです。この中に 300g 入れてほしいの。300 grams.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, first question.
What was my childhood like?
Yeah. What was your childhood like? What was it like growing up in Colorado?
I love Colorado. I am like a Colorado girl and will forever be a Colorado girlie. Let's go Broncos. Let's go Buffs. I didn't grow up around any Japanese people. Like, we had a few people who were maybe half Japanese, or I think I had one other person in my class who was fully Japanese. Everybody around me was pretty much white. We didn't have like Japanese markets or Japanese restaurants really around us, and so I grew up with my mom baking and like cooking, and you didn't put anything in there, just that was like air. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Put about 150 in this bowl from here. Even in my elementary school, I mean, I was one of the only Asian people. And then in middle school, most of my friends growing up were white, which I think was really interesting because I had a really, really fun childhood. But I feel like I did grow up wanting to be white for a lot of the time. I remember in second grade, I asked my mom, why don't I have blonde hair and blue eyes? Why am I not a brunette? Just not understanding why I don't look white, because what I based beauty standards were off of being white. I hated my last name when I was little, which is like so traumatic as a child. Now I'm thinking about it, but because in attendance they didn't know how to say it, even though it's Takahashi, like it's not that hard.
That's crazy. Because like for me, my name's Sayaka, and like, people would always mess it up, especially when there's a substitute. It's like
it's always the substitute teacher.
You're like Sayaka, and I'm like, yes, it's me, it's Sayaka. Like, where did the fucking S go? I think it's different though with me, because for me, there were 5 other kids that had like a weird name.
So other people were also getting, their names were also getting butchered.
So I never felt alone or like the outcast at all.
Were most of your friends Asian?
Yeah, almost all of my friends are Asian. That's how I started to be able to speak Korean. My friends were all Korean.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever have it where I didn't get picked on at lunch, but people would be like, what is that? When I brought like a rice ball with like seaweed on it. Right?
It happened in elementary school for sure. It's like, oh, nori, or like kids would make fun of my curry. They'd be like, oh, it looks like unko. I don't remember it, but I guess I told my mom that people said that. So ever since that happened, home bento bako ni my mom would put rice, then do, and then rice on top of it.
Open your bento, just rice.
But you can smell the curry. But other than that, I felt cool that I had a bento. Because like everyone was like, whoa, like so good, whereas everyone's like eating a Lunchable.
I was the girl that like wanted tater tots and like the hot lunch, but my mom would always make me a bento or like a lunch, which is like the sweetest thing. And I'd be like, Mom, I would like to get the cup noodles that all the kids are getting to eat for lunch.
When I went to middle school, I moved, so I had no friends, and I would eat alone. And I didn't want to eat alone and open this bento box. So I asked my mom, can you put the bento box in a paper bag? Like, it makes no sense, because like I pull out a paper bag and then a plastic bento comes out. And I'm like using chopsticks to eat my few bento.
Oh, but you didn't want a Japanese like bento
I didn't want like
bag.
the bag. I was embarrassed about the bag.
What?
The stupid part is after I finish eating, I throw away the paper bag and I just have this empty bento box.
Okay, wait, we need to start this. I bowl need put 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. This is called a skipper or a scraper. Make it flat. That's the thing about baking. Precision is like kind of key. Put it on this side over here. There you go. Oh. Next to the sugar, I want you to put 1/3 teaspoon of yeast. And then in here, we make like a little pocket with this spoon. Pour in 10 grams of honey. Did you ever get an opportunity to talk with your friends in Japanese?
Absolutely, because I did have Japanese friends at my school. We would like talk shit in Japanese.
That's so fun. You went to Japanese school growing up?
Yeah. Did you go to Japanese school?
No.
Oh.
So I learned Japanese only in my house. My mom would give me kanji drills, and I would begrudgingly do them. I did not understand why I had to learn Japanese because I was never using Japanese. We're gonna put 1 teaspoon of salt into here. The reason why we do it in 2 bowls is because the yeast and the sugar like each other, but they don't like salt. And so the yeast and the sugar is what helps the bread rise. So when we first mix it in here, we mix it with all the sugar and stuff, and then get the yeast gluten going, and then we mix it with this salt, and then it just helps the bread rise.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna put in 170 milliliters of water. Did you know that cc and milliliters are not the same?
Yes.
But like milliliters and grams are the same.
Really? Really? So like 3 milliliters of water and 3 grams of water is the same thing?
Yeah.
That's the most helpful thing I've learned so far.
Once the water is a little bit hotter, we're gonna pour it over the yeast.
What's the yeast?
Wooden spatula.
Okay.
Start mixing. 粉っぽさがなくなったら start mixing vigorously.
What were we talking about? Oh, the Japanese school stuff. For me, like I would go to Japanese school and it was literally Japan on Saturdays. They rent out a high school. It's like Kokusan Risha. We would have like mochitsuki taikais, undokais.
Everyone was Japanese.
Yeah.
You do this. It's helpful to give in a little bit of air. And this helps the gluten form, so then we put the other half of the flour in. It's already a little bit. Speaking on the Japan on Sundays, mine was like Japan in the house. We watched Japanese TV.
Right.
My brother and I would talk in Japanese. I would talk to my parents in Japanese all the time. So I grew up really watching Japanese media. And like that was all I consumed in the house.
Just
all of it.
A few moments later.
Are you ready to start kneading some dough? We're first gonna start with tategone vertical kneading. You're gonna hold the dough with either this part or your fingertips, and then you're gonna use this other bottom part of your right hand to push it forward. And it's almost like there's a stain here that you're trying to take off. You want to really get in there. You want to use your body weight and kind of stretch the dough, pull it back. Yeah, good. Did you come to Japan over the summers and stuff?
Yeah, every summer when especially in elementary school, we would come back to Japan and then I would go to Japanese school.
And do like hiking yoga?
Yeah.
Okay, I did that. Schools itself are so different in America versus in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that kids clean their own schools after lunch.
And they serve their own lunch.
I know! Or like when they would brush their teeth after lunch. I thought that was really funny too.
Yeah.
And you have like your outside shoes and your inside shoes. You just realize how filthy American schools are when you're doing
Really?
Oh, that's okay.
Bro, this is a whole ass workout.
What would you talk to your brother in? Japanese?
I would talk to him in like Jinglish. It was just always jumbled.
It's funny though too because I can also tell it by the way that we text.
Oh,
Because I
like,
usually, whenever I text, I'll either usually only text in either Japanese or only English.
Yeah.
But you type things like "Pasukaru" in like all English, and I'm like "Pasukaru." Like I don't even know how to read it.
Like,
and so then I
bro, cream cheese, mitsukaranai. And like, no maji.
And so I have to like read it slowly because I'm like, I don't know what she's saying. So I think that's funny too because like I thought mine was English, but then I'm like, I hear you and I'm like, oh, never mind. But it's probably just because I never spoke Japanese with any of my friends. Now I want you to do a little like shorter kneading so that you're not stretching out the dough as much, but still adding a little bit of friction.
This makes how many bagels?
This makes 8 bagels.
No way. Wow.
Short. Yeah. 上手。いいじゃん。筋いいじゃん。What made you want to go to college in Japan?
My dad was just like,
You're going to Japan for college.
Since I was in like middle school, as a middle school child, you're not really thinking about anything and you're like, I'm going to Japan. So everyone's like, wow. And I'm like, yeah. In high school, when everyone started doing their college apps, I was like, why the fuck am I not going to America? Like, I want to stay here, especially because I had friends in college already, and you would visit them and you party and you're like, fuck, this is fun.
Pause this. We're gonna do buijigone. You put your hand in a V, and then you're gonna knead with this part of your hand. This is just to work up the dough a little bit and to form the gluten, and this kind of helps smoothen out the dough. Again, imagine there's like a little stain on the counter that you're like wanting to take off. Are you glad you went to school in Japan?
Yeah, I'm really glad I did for sure. I think when I first moved to Japan, I felt very like, oh, America's better. Japan is, you know, you guys are late. I had like that sense of America #1.
Very patriotic.
But yeah, after living in Japan for 6 years and also like not just college but working at a company for 2 years, I've seen the good parts of Japan as well. I think at first I wouldn't call Japan home, but like now I can say that Japan is definitely home to me as well.
Did you ever think about living here long term?
No. Especially like if I'm gonna have kids, I think I want them to be able to speak
Let it rest
English.
for like 2 minutes.
Okay. I want them to know different cultures. This is something like a reason why I really respect my parents too for like raising children in a country where they know nothing about. I don't think I could raise my child in Japan because like I don't know what they're going through. Whereas like in America I can be like, okay, like they're probably going through this.
I feel like now I'm so thankful of my mom for all the work that she did to make sure that my brother and I were able to speak Japanese. But when you're little, you don't realize it. Okay, we're gonna let this proof for 20 to 25 minutes.
Jump to 20 to 25 minutes later. It's been 40 minutes-ish because we've let it lay. We've let it lay. It's benching apparently. Is benching? Did you say?
It's bench time.
Oh, it's bench time.
Right now. It's resting. So we have them in 8 little balls. We're gonna let that proof a little bit while we prep the other ingredients. We have tomato sauce, cheese, bacon and more cheese, uncle, and cream cheese. So we're gonna take one. We want to make this really long and rectangular. When you're doing this, what you don't want to do is from the top down because that will make your bread dough pretty stiff. You want to focus more in the middle, outward.
A few moments later.
Perfect. Let's start with the uncle first. We're gonna put a little line of cream cheese in here. There's also like ambata. You want to just squeeze it out, but put it over here. And then we're gonna shape it into bagels. So we're gonna roll this from the bottom over. And you just want to make sure there's not any air inside. You want to roll it and pull a little bit. Good job. And you can close this side, this other side. You want to make it flat, like a little hammerhead shark. So then you want to take this and hold down here gently, and then you want to roll it a little bit so that it stretches it gently. More roll, less push down. Now that it's stretched, you're gonna twist it once and then twice, and then we're gonna wrap it onto here, and then you're gonna wrap what you just stretched over itself and make a tiny little bagel like this.
1,
Yeah.
2.
It's okay if it's not a perfect circle. You want to close it though, or else it's gonna unravel while it boils.
We're boiling it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's how bagels
It's
you
not
boil.
making it.
Well, no, you bake it after you boil it.
Oh.
What was it like dating in the US versus dating in Japan?
The one culture shock I had when I dated one guy that was like more Japanese than I thought was that in Japan, by the 3rd date, if you guys aren't dating, it's not gonna happen.
Oh my god, wait, I didn't know that. Yeah, somebody was like,
By your 3rd date, you either decide you're boyfriend, girlfriend, or you're not.
and I was like, what? Like, you don't know this person.
Yeah, literally. Oh my god, cheating. Cheating is so normalized in this country and I do not understand.
Do people not feel guilt?
I've seen in like street interviews where they're like,
Oh yeah, as long as it's not emotional, then it's fine.
and I'm like, huh? How do you know if it's emotional or not? Like, wait, 肩こらないこれ. My back hurts.
Is there something that when you're in the US, you're like, oh, I kind of miss about Japan?
Oh, absolutely. Especially in LA, it's like kuruma shakai. So I miss just being able to dress nicely and just go to a cafe or something because like I don't want to have to drive somewhere. Like it's just such a hassle. If I'm going to run errands, I'm not gonna wear my booties and look nice, you know? Like if I look like that, like fucking Ralph's, it's like, are you okay?
But here, everyone dresses so nicely.
It's fun. It's like every day is a fashion show. I loved it when people stared. I get a lot of comments of like, how do you deal with people that like stare at you? And I'm like, that is my motivation, bitch. If no one stared at me that day, I must have done something wrong with my outfit. What the fuck?
You're like, why are all these men not looking at me?
Just like anyone, like if a grandma's staring at me, I'm
people
like,
stare here.
oh my god. Especially after leaving Japan and coming back, I noticed so much more how much people will stare. There's not even just it's like a
No, literally. You're just
like,
coming at them and they're just
what?
like, I'm like, I'm not coming to speak to you. Why are you looking at me? I also feel like you get so much more personal space though in the US. You're on the trains here and you're just like,
oh no, you're like, nah, I think I touched her butt. I hope she doesn't think I'm a child.
oh, すごいじゃん。
Did I do it?
かわいい。上手。Okay, so we're gonna make pizza. We're gonna do the same thing. We're making what? Bacon pizzas? Maybe just like literally spread it and then just do mainly cheese. Cheese それ。Okay.
はい。
これ先か。
ソース塗って、じゃあチーズやるね。
ピザじゃん。あんこクリームチーズ。入れます。
A few moments later.
ベーグルできました。
Here are the bagels! 美味しそう!
ザよいしょ
Wow, that looks really good. いただきます。
いただきます。
Cheers.
もちもち。
I like that it's not like dense.
The dough doesn't have any butter. There's no oil.
はいはい。
But because there's no oil in it, it's pretty さっぱり。
めっちゃ美味しい。
あんこクリームチーズ。I'm excited. よいしょ。せーの。あんこ。
おー、パンの方が多いね。綺麗。It looks like a brain MRI scan.
綺麗。It looks like a brain. いただきます。ちょっとサクサクだね。
ね。
You made that.
Oh, this one I made?
I'm just saying you made these.
Oh, yeah! Thank you guys for joining us and making bagels together. ルークも最後ね、バイバイするんだよって。I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about growing up Japanese in America. Let us know if you have any questions about us and our upbringing. Our upbringing. If you did catch how to make the bagel, try it at home.
Follow my page for the recipe.
Takahashi. せーの。
Bye bye besties. I saw that one coming.
嫌だったのね。
We'll try that again. Ready? Bye bye besties. He's like, put me down.
I'm like, ah!